And I am back. So I said I might do another video today, and here we are going to do it. I shared some samples of this bourbon that we're doing today with some people that I work with. One I would say is pretty much a connoisseur of bourbon. One is somebody who is dips their toes into bourbon a little bit, and one of them is somebody who really just does not drink that much bourbon. But I've mentioned something that I have a lot of bourbon, and I should probably share it with people. And he took me up on that. So um, anyway, so I shared this three bourbon with this bourbon with these three people, and I wanted to do a video about it myself because I cannot honestly remember if I've had it before. I did have some of it last night, um, but I can't remember if I'd had it previous to that. Anyway, let's get to it. This is what we're going to have today. This is a Maker's Mark Wood Finishing Series. This is a 2023 limited release. They first came out with these. I'm not going to look it up, but I want to say they came out with these in like 2019. Started doing them 2018, 2019, something like that. Might have been 2020. I want to say 19. And the first one that I had, I want to say the first one of these that I ever had was actually at the time like my favorite bourbon. It was it was the thing that I liked more than anything. Um, but it changed on me. These bourbons have been weird for me because I can let them sit for just a day, and I love it last night, and then I don't like it today. These have been very weird for me, and that's just not typical. Um, and I was just going to make this about tasting, but since I brought that up, if you find a bourbon that you don't care for, do not get rid of that. There is a particular bourbon that Scott and I both, when we first opened it up, we were just like, what is this crap? This is terrible. But it was a fairly expensive bottle. We weren't going to throw it away anyway. I think that if I remember right, my personal process on this was I tasted it right out of the bottle, and I did not care for it at all. So for a little while there, I was mixing it, and then I just went, you know what? Let's go back for this thing, and it turned out to be something that I absolutely loved. It was weird. So you might get that sometimes. Your palate does change over time. It depends on what you eat. It depends on if you're sick. Could depend on stress levels, maybe. I really don't know. But this bourbon, like, genuinely went from something that I hated to something that I absolutely loved. And Scott will tell you the same thing, and he knows exactly what I'm talking about if he wants to pipe in. Anyway, so we'll have this today. What can I tell you about it? So it's 2023 limited release wood finishing series, BEP, whatever that stands for. All of these that I've had, I believe they all fall in the range of 105 to 115 proof, and they're actually all usually covering right around 110. So I'll read you what it says here on the bottle. An expression with prominent wood sugars bringing forth strong notes of vanilla, caramel, and sweet spice. So just that off the top is telling me that I'm gonna love it. And I did have some of it last night, and it was very good. And that is one of the things that kind of motivated me to bring this up again today, along with the fact that I shared it with some people. So I'm gonna give you the full rundown. Um, we will go with color, and then aroma, and then mouthfeel, and then flavor, and then finish. I believe those are the 5 spots to hit. I'm not going to give you a great. What I have for color here, this room is not lighted all that great, so I'm just gonna. It's gonna be the best I can do. Yeah, this looks very red, but I'm pretty sure that that's just because of this room. I don't think this is. You can see it there. That's your color. Um, I don't think this is actually as red as it's looking in this room. So there you go. So, what's our aroma? And I do have I have some stuff in the background on my computer here. So for aroma, it does smell sweet. It's sugary, vanilla, like it says on the bottle. Caramel, yes, like it says on the bottom. A little bit of cinnamon in there, not much. That's really it. Maybe some maybe some raisins, something in there like that. Excuse me. All right, so that's what I got. So I've got a fairly reddish copper color. Again, I'm not sure if that's because of the light or not, but it's got a sweet smell to it for sure. Not super ethanol-y, but a little bit ethanol-y. All right, and the mouthfeel. It's none of the above. All I can tell you about mouthfeel is it's just coating everything. It does not have a lot of heat for me. It's hot, you know, because it's a little spicy. It's 109 proof, so that's going to be a little bit hot. But other than that, it's fairly the feel. It's got a nice taste to it, but we'll get there. But the feel is fairly boring. Nothing really special about it. It doesn't. It's not particularly smooth. It doesn't have any kind of dryness. It's certainly not refreshing. Um, Rich. I will go with rich. It is a little. It is a bit rich. I'll give you that one. Um, so now we get into the nitty gritty. The stuff that we all really care about the bourbon is the flavor, and this has a lot. I feel like you'll get a better flavor if you keep giving it a good nose before you drink it. Anyway, I mean, it is like the bottle says, vanilla. There's a lot of vanilla in there. Um, Caramel, sure. I do. I'm catching some raisins in there. I don't know. Maybe that's just my imagination. Cinnamony, but I think the cinnamony is more. It's not so much the cinnamon flavor as it is the spiciness. I think you all know probably what I'm talking about. If you had big red gum, right? That's cinnamony, but it's the spice that's hitting you here, not the cinnamon flavor. If I'm making any sense at all. So it's pretty solid. I like this. It does have it's a little different. There's something different in here that I can't really put my finger on. Um, like with these finishing series, they have a. It's not the right word. Salty. That is not the right word, but I don't know of a better word for it. Yeah, that's all I got. Salty, and that just gave me a little bit of chocolate. I don't know. That came out of nowhere. So final step, we're gonna go with the finish. This finish is nice. It's long. It is spicy. It is sweet. It is lingering. It's got. These are the things that I like in a finish. All of that. Yeah. It's got a spiciness to it. And maybe that's what I'm talking about when I say it's got a different flavor that's kind of salty. But spicy and salty, they're really not the same thing. Anyway, the finish is very nice. It's not overpowering by any stretch of the imagination. There's a sweetness to it. It does linger a bit. It's long. I really don't know. This is one of those things that these bourbon tasting charts, they talk about long and lingering. Aren't those the same thing? Kind of. If you have a long finish, isn't it a lingering finish? But it sits there. Like this flavor is still sitting on my tongue. It's not going away. It's nice. It changes a little bit. It softens, but it hangs there. All right, so that's about that. On an overall, this is just a very um, well blended whiskey. I mean, it's balanced nicely. There's some complexity to it, but it's not overly complex. It's not necessarily super intense. It's quite satisfying for me. Sweetness is always a key for me. I like a sweet bourbon as long as it's not overly sweet, and they can be overly sweet. Um, Very satisfying. Big fan. Now, keeping in mind that just about everything I drink, I do not find bourbons that on a 1 to 10 scale, almost everything I have is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't have fives. I don't have anything like that. And I think that's more just because I like whiskey than I am that much of than what I have is all that great, to be honest with you. A true aficionado would probably find many of my bourbons to be a five. But anyway, on a scale of 1 to 10, and like keep in mind, just about everything, you're not going to get less than a six from me. This is a solid eight. So very good. So that's it. That is my Maker's Mark 2023 limited release BEP wood finishing series. So thanks. If you like the video, hit that like button, follow me, share it, and if you're interested, go back and watch like my first 3 or 4 videos. Those are the ones that I talk about how, in my opinion, you should drink your bourbon, how it's more satisfying, and how can you just more experience your bourbon than just drinking it. So that's going to do it for me. I will see you guys in a couple of weeks, I hope. Thanks. Thanks for watching.